This might surprise you, but yes, you can lose weight while eating out most of the time, still enjoy the foods that you love, and see the results that you want. I am the living example of it because I live nomadically and eat out every day. In this video today, I want to share with you a few secrets or tips, so to speak, that you can apply to understand the psychology of eating, what it is that you're actually needing to do to stay in shape without needing to restrict yourself or drive yourself absolutely freaking crazy. And yes, this includes enjoying burgers and cocktails even on an occasion. Now, a quick note before we go deeper. If you do want a personalized meal plan that works with your lifestyle, I'm offering you a 15-minute free call that you can jump on right now, book right here underneath the link, and get a game plan for yourself. Yes, absolutely free. For years, I thought that in order to stay in shape, I need to restrict myself from eating anything that isn't good or clean, and that my diet needed to be on point. Now, through the years and also through training so many other women, I've learned that this is not sustainable, and this actually stresses us out more than it does good for us. So there is almost a reverse effect that takes place once we are in this place of restriction, because we're feeling miserable and that spikes our stress levels up and honestly doesn't help with the weight loss. But here's what I did find out. If we start avoiding the cycle of restriction, cravings, overeating, then feeling guilty for it and starting over and over, and perhaps even needing to have these cheat days, which are also not sustainable, if we completely diminish this and just start learning what is actually good for us and work with our cycle as women, we can absolutely crush our weight loss goals. The big truth that many people miss is that you actually don't need to eat less in order to stay in shape. You just need to understand what to eat more of and what to be more mindful of in order to still enjoy all the beautiful things that life has to offer, because otherwise, what's the freaking point anyway? We want to learn to eat in a way that our body feels safe with us. It doesn't feel like we're always jumping onto the next diet, stressing the body out, and then landing again in salad land or cutting out carbs completely from our life and therefore also make our social life really freaking miserable. So yes, what I am telling you is that there is a way that you can lose weight, reduce inflammations, feel good in your body, and not needing to overcompensate with movement. Movement is not the core tool to use in order to lose weight. Movement has a complete different purpose. Food, however, is your fuel. And it's not just fuel for living, it's also fuel for the soul. So let's not forget that. So if you know me a little bit, you know that I am not about a rigid plan. I also don't have a rigid plan. I don't decide on the day what exactly I eat, but I have developed this ability to look at a menu, for example, and know exactly what's the best pick for me. And this is what I'm going to teach you today. These are the principles that I live and swear by. First of all, I eat real meals and I do not snack all day long. And when I say real meals, I am not referring to a protein bar either or a protein shake. These are substitutes that I would use on the last possible minute. Or if I am training heavily and do need something, I'll probably rather have a protein shake that I've made myself, that I know exactly what the ingredients are about, than a protein bar. But I eat real meals, and that is so important for you to understand, because everything that is pre-made is full of processed junk that is going to leave you feeling weird, bloated, and it's just not the vibe. When I say I eat real meals, this is also what I want you to understand. If you look at a plate, you want to have some fibers on there that are going to help your gut to digest. So fibers can be fruits, it can be vegetables. It would be amazing for you to add some sort of vegetables onto every plate that you eat. Or, for example, if you're having breakfast, you can also have fruits. The next thing that is very important, and yes, of course, it's going to be part of it, is ensuring that you eat enough protein, because protein will keep you full and will help you just maintain a good energy level and feed you what you need. And ladies, this one is really important. I need you to eat fats and carbs. Fats and carbs are not your enemy. You just need to learn what type of fats and how much carbs are actually good for you because carbs are your main fuel source. So understanding what is on your plate and how much protein that actually is really, really beneficial. So if you look at a protein plate, or for example, if you look at a protein plate that you get delivered in most restaurants, I can tell you that 80% of the times it probably doesn't have enough. So you can always ask for more protein of whatever source you have chosen, whether that is fish, whether that's a vegetarian protein source, whether that is meat. You can just always ask for an extra portion. That's what I do all the time. When it comes to carbs, carbs are probably the cheapest source for most restaurants also to serve you. So even if you were to buy, for example, a pre-made meal or a sandwich, most ingredients of your meal is probably carbs. So this is where you want to just learn of like, is this an actual balanced plate? Again, not because we think that carbs are the enemy. No, not at all. It's about balance, and the balance is usually not there. Really, really important is to enjoy the foods that you love still. Understanding that if you start your day right, which I 100% want to make sure you do, start always right, start always healthy, because that way you avoid weird cravings and energy drops. You can then later on incorporate foods that you also love. Like I have burgers all the time, and sometimes I even have cocktails, and that is completely okay. And when you eat them, enjoy them from the fullest. Do not stress yourself out about it. You can always help your body digest them better by going on a digestive walk later. But the point is not to stress about the things that you have eaten, and that will also cause you to not overly eat. So, meaning not emotionally eat, for example, where you're like, seeing a pizza and you're like, oh, fuck this, let me just eat the whole pizza because now what's the point already? I already had 3 slices. Just enjoy the 3 slices that you had and take the rest of the pizza to go, and you can have some pizza even tomorrow. Really important is also to not compensate or punish yourself with workouts. So don't drag yourself to a workout the next day. If I'm, for example, saying going on a digestive walk, I'm telling you this because this is good for your digestion and not because I want you to make it up with some steps. You can also, of course, think strategically, which is like if you had a big day before where you did a lot of carbs or carb loading, so to speak, of course you'll have more fuel the next day to, for example, do a big beautiful weightlifting session or go on a long run, but not to overcompensate or punish. That's a big difference. And be aware of when life gets social, because this is what life is about. If you know that there are some social events coming up, and you know, for example, that there is going to be different food than what you usually consume, that is completely okay. You can still somewhat prepare. Again, not prepare because you're punishing yourself or because you're overly controlling, but more so because you understand that you want to have a balanced plate. It's a complete different mindset if you're like, oh, okay, we're going to go and have probably snacks and a lot of this and that. Why don't I make sure that at least before I get there that I feel somewhat satisfied and have had the portion of, for example, protein that I need, or have eaten something healthy, because I understand that I'm going, for example, to like a post work meetup where there's going to be a lot of peanuts and alcohol served, so I can at least make sure that there I'm properly hydrated. I had my water, I had salt that hydrates me, I had maybe even a little bit of lemon or whatever electrolytes you like, and then I also had a proper meal. Again, a proper meal, not a snack. And if you just look at these few things that I said to you right now, you'll notice that your energy will be way more stable, you'll feel more calm, and you're gonna build a complete different relationship to food and also to your emotional cues. And this is the last point that I want to mention, which again is emotional cues. If you understand more about your cycle, you understand in which time in your cycle you potentially need more calories, and therefore what you think is wrong with you is innately not wrong at all. It is biology. You'll also understand why certain cravings might be bigger some days and some others, because once you start reflecting, you might notice that the day before, so the day after you're hungry and the day before, you didn't eat properly or you didn't have that balanced meal, or you had a lot of sugar and therefore you're feeling a little bit like a sugar addict, so to speak, because sugar is asking for more sugar. And then it makes complete sense why that is, and there's nothing wrong with you. So understanding emotional cues is really, really important. This goes even so far that you understand that when you're stressed, perhaps you so far always soothed or numbed yourself with a specific type of food, and now you can help and actually support your body with better food choices while still enjoying that food later on, if that's then still the case that you want to consume it. Of course, if you are traveling like me, you don't always have control about all the foods that you eat or all the ingredients that come on your plate, and that is okay too. I don't stress myself out. Your body has a natural detoxification process through sweating, for example, where it releases all the junk it doesn't need. So as long as we have a proper routine where we activate the lymph so that the detoxification process can happen, we move, we enjoy our life, we sweat, we are good. Everything that is, being consumed can be used and moved. Rest assured that this hasn't always been the case. I have been a chronic binge eater all my life, and changing the relationship that I have to food has taken me a long, long time. And again, through being able to work with so many different women, I have just learned so much about food and why we react a certain way or why we crave certain ways, that now I'm able to really break this down in the most easiest way possible for you. And that's why I can just go out and enjoy a cocktail if that's what I want to, because I understand what it does to my body and how I can recover from it better, so that the next day I don't feel, for example, super, super foggy throughout the whole day. Now, again, this is not a video to influence you or motivate you to drink more alcohol, because no, alcohol is not your best friend. However, it is part of social life, and perhaps this is something that you do enjoy, so I never would want you to think that you cannot have it every once in a while. What I do want you is to trust yourself more with food, so that food doesn't become an enemy, but something that you can actually enjoy and not feel like you have to change your whole life into becoming a bodybuilder, unless that's what you want, and eat like a bodybuilder and calculate every little macro, because if that's not you, then why force yourself into something that is not you and not aligned with your goals? So when I work with women, this is a big piece of what I help them with in order to make the change, to lose the weight, to build the muscle, to build the confidence that they always wanted to have. It's really that identity shift that happens, so that they don't stress themselves out anymore. Their nervous system is working for them and not against them. And finally, all the rest, the weight, the skin that needs to become clear, the flat tummy, all of that just naturally happens. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave it a like and leave a comment even so, or share it with a friend. And don't forget that if you do want a personalized meal plan, I offer you this beautiful opportunity right now to book a 15-minute call, no strings attached, where we can create a game plan for what foods would make sense no matter what diet you are following, so that you can get back to your body, feel good in it, feel like you have control over what's happening in some degree, and be living the life that you want in the body that you want. So if that feels right, link is right underneath here. Thank you so, so much for watching this, and I am right here with you if you need anything.